Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for this little delay, but don't worry, we made some changes in our morning program, so you won't be late on the lunch in 12:30. Anyway, welcome to Rabat, welcome to Morocco. After 20 years, we are again in Africa, and we are very proud of it. Not officially, but there are 100 countries here, which is very, very big number, and we should be proud on that. But for the beginning, I would like our president, Mr. Merlo, to speak.
Don't worry, it's not a speech, it's only the introduction. I think that in this room you can see a lot of people, and this is the most important thing, because we will talk about many matters that are regarding our profession today. That is very important that after we debate, because the people that will come on the stage, they will also answer to your question. So be ready also for the question. There will be the girl that will bring you the microphone, or if not, if there are too many people, we will make a kind of queue here. So for the question, the colleague can come here to ask their question, okay? It's very clear? I hope so. So thank you very much, and let's begin.
Let's begin. As usual, we like to have people who are with us. I see that some people are telling me that translation is not working. I don't know why. So please, if somebody can hear me about the translation, check it out. First of all, as usual, our big friend and the man who is finishing his Olympic career, Mr. Thomas Bach, will give us warm regards.
Dear President of the International Sports Press Association, dear Gianni Merlo, dear AIPS members, after celebrating your centenary last year, your Congress takes on a special significance as you build on more than 100 years of excellence in sports journalism. It is indeed a timely moment for you to set the course for the future of sport journalism. The world of journalism and the world of sport have undergone dramatic changes over the last century. Now we're in the middle of another dramatic development. Artificial intelligence is bringing new challenges for journalism and for sport, while at the same time also offering wonderful and great opportunities. This is why I would like to congratulate AIPS under the great leadership of my dear friend Gianni Merlo for having addressed this development with such foresight and thereby giving great guidance to all sport journalists and beyond. As you look to the future of sports journalism at your Congress, I would like to thank all of you, and especially indeed your President Gianni Merlo, for the important work that you are doing to bring the values of sport and the magic of the Olympic Games to a global audience. With my IOC presidency approaching its end, I would also like to thank you for the great cooperation that we have enjoyed with AIPS over the last 12 years. It has been an honor to share this journey with you at AIPS, united in our shared belief in promoting the values of sport. My successor, the IOC President-elect Kirsty Coventry, is deeply anchored in these values, as she has impressively demonstrated during her extraordinary sporting and professional career. And I hope very much that she can count on your journalistic fairness and balance when it comes to lead the Olympic movement into an even brighter future. In this Olympic spirit, I wish you fruitful discussions and an excellent Congress. All the best.
Mr. Bach certainly deserves this applause. But we will continue with the Olympics. Now we will have presentation of Milano Cortina 2026 Winter Olympics Games. Valentina Comoretto, head of media operations, will present. She is here.
Buongiorno. Good morning. My name is Valentina Comoretto, and it's a pleasure for me and my colleague Gloria Schiavi sitting in the room to be here. We would like to thank Mr. Merlo, Nadine, and the entire team for hosting us, and all of you for following us. Let's start this journey to Milano Cortina 2026, introducing you our scenario with a video. So in the meantime, we wait for the audio. Maybe later on, we will see again the video. The video was a way to introduce you our venues and the way Milano Cortina 2026 games are going to be spread with 4 cluster multi-regional games. In this specific, if we can go to the slide number 5, please, because this is not working. Okay, amazing. Thank you. So for the Olympic Games, we will find ice venues in the city of Milano, with the exception of the curling, who will be in Cortina, and all the other outdoor sports will be organized throughout the 3 mountain clusters. The same concept is going to be applied, as we are going to see in the next one, for the Paralympic Games, where only the para ice hockey will be organized in the city of Milano, and all the outdoor sports will be in 2 clusters in the mountain. We prepare a snapshot in the next one about some numbers, and so for a total of 14 venues covering both Olympic and Paralympic Games, Milano Cortina 2026 will see 3,500 athletes competing for the 195 medals to be assigned. And in these numbers, the new discipline introduced for Milano Cortina, so in the next one, please, the ski mountaineering, of course, is already included. The ski mountaineering will be organized in the Bormio village in the mountain, where the alpine skiing men competitions will be held. For the same concept of having spread competition games throughout Italy, also for the opening and closing ceremonies, we are going to follow the same principles. So as a quick information for you, we are going to have the opening ceremony of the Olympic Games on February the 6th in Milano, with the closing ceremony on February 22nd in the city of Verona. Then we will stay in Verona for the Paralympic Games, with the opening ceremony on March the 6th, and finally we will move to Cortina in the heart of the Dolomites for the closing ceremony of the Paralympic Games on March 15. And also for the cauldrons, we will find 2 cauldrons for the Olympic and Paralympic Games of Milano Cortina, one in Milano and one in Cortina. We focus now briefly on the press operations. The next one, please. Our goal is to plan and manage all the press services and facilities to let all the press organizations cover the games. How we do this? We do this with a core team of 18 people based in Milano, up to 140 personnel for press operations engaged for the games time. Yes, thank you. For the following, next one, please. Again, one, please. Thank you. Amazing. Several of you and or your colleagues will be based at the main press center, which is located in a central location in the city center of Milano, together with the IBC. One of the most important information we would like to share with you is that the main press center will be operational only for the Olympic Games, with the soft opening on January the 6th and the start of the operations from January 31st with the Olympic operations. As you can see here, this is the location of the main press center. It's really comfortable and a nice place to be, also well connected from a transportation point of view. In the main press center, together with all the common services, if you don't mind, I keep going. With all the common services in the main press center, there will be 2 press conference rooms with the remote simultaneous interpretation available. And this is an important peculiarity of Milano Cortina, the importance of these 2 press conference rooms in the main press center, because all the media services and facilities for the Olympic and Paralympic villages will be limited. It means that all the NOCs and MPCs press conferences usually organized in the villages will be organized at the main press center for Milano and in the enhanced venue media center in the mountain clusters. The enhanced venue media center is a new concept for Milano Cortina 2026, and it was our solution and planning due to the distribution of the clusters and the competition. Due to this, amazing, we are perfect. Perfect slide, thank you. Due to the clusters configuration, there will be no mountain media center, but media services and facilities in 3 key venues have been enhanced. The 3 key venues are, for the Olympic Games, the one in Cortina for the Cortina Curling Olympic Stadium, then we move to Livigno Snow Park in Valtellina and Tesero Cross Country Skiing Stadium in Val di Fiemme. For the Paralympic Games, we keep the one in Cortina and the one in Val di Fiemme, and we add the para ice hockey venue. What does enhanced venue media center mean in the reality? In the reality means longer operational days and hours. So we are going to open these for the Olympic Games, these 3 enhanced venue media center on the same day of the opening of the Olympic villages. We are enhancing the operational hours from already in the beginning, and then for the games time period, we are going to be operational from 7 till midnight 30 every day. These 3 enhanced venue media center will also present a dedicated press conference room and the photo services provider. The same concept is to be applied also for the Paralympic Games, exactly the same concept of enhancing the media services. Also for the photo services center, due to the configuration of our classes that I think now is pretty clear to you, we're going to have the photo services providers supporting all the photographers in Milano and the MPC for the Olympic Games and in these 3 enhanced venue media centers. Without entering so much into the details, in the next slide we can see that all the every venue will have, of course, the press conference facilities. And it's important to reiterate the message that all the NOCs and MPCs press conferences previously planned and organized in the villages are going to be organized at the main press center covering the Milano Olympic Village and in the 3 enhanced venue media centers in the mountain. Again, once again, we will find press conference facilities in all the venue as per other venue media operations facilities that we didn't mention before. Of course, every venue will have a dedicated venue media center, mix-zone, press tribune, and so on, as per the common planning. Also in the venues, the press conference all the press conferences will have a simultaneous interpretation, and they will be live streamed via MediaZone, and the complete schedule for the press conferences will be published in MediaZone. If you let me have a quick snapshot on the villages in the next slide, this is another press peculiarities for Milano Cortina 2026 games, because services and facilities will be limited in the villages. So as you can see from this slide, we don't have only one village, but we have an Olympic and Paralympic village in Milano, where access to the village plaza for media will be granted, with also a limited number of workstations. For the Cortina Olympic and Paralympic Village, access to the village plaza to run the interviews with the athletes, of course, will be granted, but no workstations, so all the media will be invited to join the team in the enhanced venue media center. For Predazzo, which is in the area of the Nordic cross-country and ski jumping, no media facilities in this village, as per Anterselva, the biathlon arena. While in Bormio and Livigno, so the alpine skiing men, ski mountaineering, and freestyle and snowboard, there will be access for interviews, but again, no media facilities in the villages. If we can move to the next one, please. We have, so as you can imagine, the operational timelines at this stage with 9 months to go is a tricky part, and we have tried to summarize the most important timelines that we think are relevant for you with the support of our graphics. Amazing. And in the following one, you can see it's not only just these few timelines. This is just a way to inform you that the press by name process for the accreditation will start at the beginning of June, as per, for example, the arrivals and departures system, where to input all the data, will open from October. And the pre-valid cards will be sent to responsible organization from November 2025 this year. The same for the Paralympic Games. Also, here we listed a few key operational timelines that we think are relevant for you, as per the accommodation allocation confirmation to be sent to the press organization by mid-June, and the press by name process starting again from the mid of June 2025 this year. With the pre-valid card starts to be valid for travel purposes for the Paralympic Games from 6th of February. I've tried to be shorter and quicker as much as possible, and I think everything is pretty clear. But once again, together with my colleague Gloria, we are here all day long if you have any question. But also you can register to our press operations extranet, where you can find all the details and many other informations that we did not present in this occasion. So if you want to scan the QR code, here you are. Last but not least, we would like to inform you that Milano Cortina 2026 press operations will make available the Warner Bros. Discovery streaming platform in order to support press organizations covering the games. How it works. This will give free access to the Warner Bros. Discovery streaming platform for the duration of 1 month, from January 30th to February 28th, only on personal devices. It will be valid only for accredited press on site in Italy, so physically on site. And more details we'll share soon via the Press Ops extranet and through other tools. So that's it from my side. If you have any question, I'm here. Yeah, please.
Hello. Friedrich Rolf, AIPS delegate for figure skating. There are obviously problems with a number of accreditations for the Winter Olympics. Possibly, I don't know, despite the number possibly remaining unchanged comparing with former Olympic Games. One reason possibly could be related with a big distance between Milan and Cortina. Newspapers may have requested more accreditations because it will not be possible to send their colleagues back and forth between Milan and Cortina. and possibly smaller newspapers may need 2 accreditations instead of 1, or larger newspapers may need 5 or 6 instead of 3 or 4, and therefore suggests, can you issue or make possible special accreditations only for Milan, for the ice sports, figure skating, ice hockey, speed skating, short track. No colleague will travel from Milan to Cortina for only 1 competition, 6 hours in the winter, and no chance to come back to the accommodation on the same day. Such accreditation limited to Milan can ease the situation, and we as APS have interest to taking action on this behalf of our colleagues.
Thank you. I got your point. And as you know, the accreditation process is run by the International Olympic Committee directly with different steps and a quota allocation which was already set up. So from our point of view, the accreditation allocation is as it was presented back in the past for the numbers. And there's any other questions? No? Okay, I stay here. Maybe one. Yeah, there is one here. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael Schuhen from Austria. Just one short question. Could you maybe specify the plans of the transportation between the different clusters, especially after the events and late at night maybe? So that's my concern a little bit. Or we have in Austria, for example, if the ski jumping, which starts late, to get back to Cortina and then back to the hotels, which are sometimes quite far away, and that might be during the night, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning. Is that guaranteed for now? Because I'm not sure about that until.
Yep. So thanks for this question. Of course, the transportation for Milano Cortina 2026 is an important asset. And so the public transportation in the city of Milano will be granted to all media, such as the transportation organized directly by the committee up to in the mountains. With this also the connection in between clusters, so from Milano to the different clusters via train, but also from cluster to cluster with dedicated transportation organized. Of course, this will follow also the competition schedule and the daily activity. If there is a delay, there will be also the transportation accordingly organized. And if you want to have a full picture of the transportation system with all the details, venue per venue or cluster per cluster, there is the media transportation information available already on the Press Ops extranet. So you can see also the maps, understanding better the different type of connections. But it will be covered. Yeah.
The lady will be here all day. We have to hurry up, so you know her. You will ask her. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a nice day. Ciao.
Stay with us. Okay. Yes. I would like to have Mr. Gao Chao, our executive committee member, to give you a little bit of our memories, just to remind of us. Gao Chao, please. Thank you, Valentina. Now we are moving from Europe to this continent. We have something about Dakar 2026 Youth Olympic Games. With us will be Abdoulaye Kanouté, Head of Media in Dakar. Abdoulaye, the floor is yours.
Bonjour à tous, je suis Abdoulaye Kanouté, je suis le directeur de la communication des Jeux Olympiques de la Jeunesse Dakar 2026 et je suis heureux d'être là ce matin. Je remercie l'AIPS de me donner l'occasion de parler des Jeux Olympiques de la Jeunesse, les premiers Jeux en Afrique. Si on peut avancer. À titre de rappel, simplement, les Jeux olympiques de la jeunesse, c'est l'événement le plus important, l'événement olympique sportif le plus important qui concerne les jeunes. On en est à la 4e édition, à Buenos Aires en 2018, qui était la 3e édition. Il y a eu 200 millions de téléspectateurs qui ont regardé les compétitions et les activités culturelles. Et 490 pays ont couvert ces Jeux olympiques. On compte sur vous pour battre ces records à Dakar l'année prochaine. Les Jeux olympiques de la jeunesse sont aujourd'hui l'antichambre des prochains champions olympiques. On le sait, on l'a vu à Paris avec Noah Lyles et Julian Alfred qui sont passés par les Jeux olympiques de la jeunesse avant d'arriver aux grands Jeux. Et rien qu'à Paris, on a eu 166 médaillés olympiques qui sont passés par les Jeux olympiques de la jeunesse. C'est pour vous dire l'importance que ces Jeux représentent aujourd'hui. Alors, c'est historique. C'est la première fois que le Comité international olympique pose ses valises en Afrique. Donc, c'est une mission qui est importante. Et cette mission, nous l'avons transformée en vision. Et cette vision, c'est la jeunesse et le sport pour une contribution à la transformation du Sénégal et une source d'inspiration pour l'Afrique. Aujourd'hui, nous sommes conscients que l'Afrique a une très, très grande responsabilité. Et cela, nous l'avons traduit dans notre slogan. Next slide, please. Donc ce slogan, l'Afrique accueille, Dakar célèbre, pour montrer qu'aujourd'hui, effectivement, en 2026, le rendez-vous est pris à Dakar, mais c'est la responsabilité de toute l'Afrique qui est engagée pendant ces compétitions. Alors, juste les informations pratiques concernant les Jeux olympiques de la jeunesse en 2026. Ils vont se tenir du 31 octobre au 13 novembre 2026. On a la particularité d'avoir 3 villes hôtes, donc Dakar, Diamniadio et Saly. Dakar qui est la capitale du Sénégal, Diamniadio qui est à 50 km de Dakar, et Saly qui est la zone balnéaire qui se trouve à 70 km de Dakar. Quelques chiffres, juste pour montrer l'importance de ce qui nous attend. Alors malheureusement, avec l'affichage des polices, les chiffres ont un peu bougé. On n'attend pas 2 athlètes, rassurez-vous. Nous attendons 2700 athlètes à Dakar en 2026 à travers 206 comités nationaux olympiques. Et pour la première fois au niveau des Jeux olympiques de la jeunesse, une délégation de réfugiés va faire partie des compétitions. Nous serons autour de 35 sports, 25 sports de compétition, 10 sports d'engagement et nous aurons 153 cérémonies de remise de médailles. Encore une fois, nous n'aurons pas 6 volontaires, mais plutôt 6 000 volontaires. Et 25 000 personnes vont être accréditées pour ces Jeux, dont une grosse partie, en tout cas on l'espère, sera concernée par les médias. Nous attendons 1 million de spectateurs et donc, comme je l'ai dit tout à l'heure, les compétitions et les activités culturelles vont se dérouler dans 3 villes, Saly, Diamniadio et Dakar. Nous avons 7 sites de compétition qui sont déjà identifiés. Le stade Abdoulaye Wade qui se trouve à Diamniadio, qui est un stade flambant neuf de 60 000 places. Le Dakar Arena avec 8 000 places. Le Dakar Expo Center, please, je n'ai pas encore fini, revenez s'il vous plaît. Donc, les sites qui sont en vert sont des sites qui sont déjà disponibles, qui sont déjà prêts. En bas, vous avez le Tour de l'œuf et le stade Iba Mar Diop qui sont en cours de rénovation. Et la plage de Saly où vont se dérouler les sports de plage et les sports d'eau. Next. Donc à Dakar, on aura 35 sports qui vont se dérouler pendant les prochains JOJ, 25 sports vont être des sports de compétition et 10 sports vont être des sports d'engagement, d'initiation pour un certain nombre d'entre eux. Le village olympique est déjà identifié. Il s'agit de l'université Amadou Mokhtar Mbow qui est là à gauche de l'image et qui est juste en face du stade Abdoulaye Wade où va se dérouler la cérémonie d'ouverture. Donc c'est le stade dont je parlais tout à l'heure. Le village olympique sera situé à Diamniadio, à 50 km de Dakar. Alors à Dakar, en perspective des Jeux, nous avons créé un festival qui s'appelle le festival Dakar en Jeux, qui est une sorte de répétition pour l'organisation qu'on va avoir en 2026. Donc c'est un mix de compétitions sportives et d'activités culturelles. On a déjà eu 3 éditions, la dernière c'était en novembre 2024, et la prochaine édition de Dakar en Jeux va se tenir du 3 au 9 novembre à Dakar. Et j'espère en tout cas qu'on pourra compter sur votre présence le moment venu. Donc cette petite vidéo, elle résume la dernière édition de Dakar en Jeux qui s'est tenue en novembre 2024. Voilà, donc pour cette édition, nous avons eu 30 000 spectateurs. Nous avons organisé un tournoi de basket, merci. Un tournoi de basket 3x3 entre plusieurs pays africains, parce que c'était une édition africaine. Nous avons eu 12 sports d'initiation, nous avons eu 1000 volontaires rien que pour cette édition. Ça ne marche pas. Si vous pouvez m'aider pour la prochaine. Alors, pour 2025, la prochaine et la dernière édition de Dakar en Jeux va se tenir du 3 au 9 novembre 2025, donc dans les 3 villes hautes, Dakar, Diamniadio et Saly. Nous prévoyons d'organiser un tournoi de futsal international. Donc, on va inviter des pays sur chaque continent. Donc, nous aurons 10 sports d'engagement. Revenez, s'il vous plaît. Et nous aurons un certain nombre d'activités culturelles, d'activités éducatives, d'activités sportives et d'activités liées à la santé à travers le programme Impact Spark. La cérémonie d'ouverture va se tenir au stade Abdoulaye Wade, qui est en fond sur l'image. Elle va se dérouler le 31 octobre 2026. Le stade a une capacité de 55 000 places et il se trouve à Diamniadio. Et pour la cérémonie d'ouverture, nous attendons 50 000 personnes. Pour parler rapidement des accréditations, le système d'accréditation est en train d'être mis en place avec le département accréditation au niveau du comité d'organisation des Jeux olympiques de la jeunesse. Mais en tout cas, ce qu'on peut vous dire à date, c'est que le processus avance très bien. Les autorités sénégalaises ont prévu de délivrer à toutes les personnes prévues pour l'accréditation, de leur délivrer une lettre de facilitation qui va tenir lieu de visa d'entrée pour les pays qui ont besoin d'un visa pour entrer au Sénégal. Alors, évidemment, il y aura un background check qui sera fait, aussi bien par les autorités sénégalaises que par le CIO pour l'accréditation finale. Alors, je vous donne rendez-vous. Il y a 3 rendez-vous importants pour lesquels on vous attend et on vous invite officiellement sur cette tribune. En juin, nous avons prévu d'organiser un média tour. C'est un événement pendant lequel nous allons recevoir des journalistes d'à travers le monde entier, qui viendront du monde entier, et nous leur ferons le tour de toutes les infrastructures et nous leur ferons état de l'avancement de l'organisation des Jeux olympiques de la jeunesse. Nous l'avons déjà fait sur le plan local avec les journalistes locaux. La prochaine étape, c'est le 23 juin. Nous vous laisserons toutes les coordonnées et vous pourrez vous inscrire si vous avez un intérêt à venir participer à ce médiatour international. En tout cas, on vous invite officiellement. En novembre se tiendra la 4e et dernière édition du Festival Dakar en Jeux dont j'ai parlé tout à l'heure et qui se fera en vrai test event qui va nous permettre de tester nos process pour Dakar 2026. Il y a une date qui n'est pas présente ici, c'est la tournée de la flamme olympique qui aura lieu dans toutes les régions du Sénégal. Et pour la première fois, elle fera également quelques capitales africaines parce que on a vu avec le CIO qu'on avait une représentation plus africaine que locale. Et donc, cela se représentera également au niveau de la tournée de la flamme olympique qui va, au-delà des régions sénégalaises, faire quelques étapes africaines. Et bien entendu, j'espère que vous serez tous au rendez-vous du 31 octobre 2026 à Dakar, Diamniadio et Saly. Je vous laisse nos coordonnées parce qu'aujourd'hui, on est plus là pour parler de Dakar 2026, mais également pour vous permettre d'avoir toutes nos coordonnées et pouvoir établir la relation, faire les échanges nécessaires pour toutes les informations dont vous aurez besoin à propos de Dakar 2026. Donc, on va afficher les... Next slide, please. Voilà. Je suis venu avec Madame Mamfatou Ndoye, qui est Media Operation Manager au niveau du comité d'organisation de Dakar 2026. Moi-même, en tant que directeur de la communication. Et puis, vous avez une adresse mail générique où vous pouvez envoyer toutes vos demandes d'informations concernant Dakar 2026. Je suis heureux d'avoir fait cette présentation. Je vous remercie et je reste disponible pour vos éventuelles questions.
Thank you very much. Stay with us a little bit. I would ask our executive committee member, Mr. Jože Zider, just to give you a small present to remember us. No, stand here. Stand. Perfect. Thank you, guys. Thank you. So, after Winter Olympics, after Youth Olympics, let's hear something about IOC media operations. Our best and very good friend, Lucia Montanarella, head of the IOC media department. Lucia.
Wow, big room, a lot of people. Good morning, everyone, and it's nice to see a lot of familiar faces. I think I saw a lot of you in Paris, so it's nice to see you on with less pressure on a non-games year. What I would like to do today, and if we can go to the first slide, is to, I know we are all looking at the future, but it's also nice to have a look back at the past. And so I take the liberty to take you to a little journey into Paris 2024, and maybe share with you some of the outcomes and some of the statistics. I will also add a few things on the Milano Cortina 2026 project from the IOC standpoint, and obviously Dakar, which the IOC is very closely working with Dakar 2026 to make the first Youth Olympic Games in Africa a success. So let's go into it, and what's best to start with a little video to bring all of us back in memories to Paris. The video, please. It would have nice with the music. Well. You'll have to dig deep into your own memories and figure out the images of Paris 2024. Maybe by the end of the presentation we can go back to it, because I actually wanted to see tears on the face of Marie de Pecker, who is here, and I know that every time she sees Paris images she gets emotional. And so anyway, let's see a few numbers then, which are maybe clearer on the screen. I will try also to make it clear if these beautiful chairs are covering some of the content. I will try to bring the content to you. So on the first column, spectators, I think you've seen it in all the media reports, 9.5 million tickets out of 10 million sold. It's been a real record in terms of sales. And for those of you who were in Paris, I think you've noticed the thousands of people in the streets, the unbelievable vibe in the venue. So spectators-wise, we know Paris 2024 got it really right. Broadcast, again, the numbers there, 36 media rights holders, 182 broadcast sub-licensee. They are numbers that show you that the images of Paris 2024, they went around the globe, everywhere, in every corner. And the figures on the actual audience and viewers are stunning. And digital, again, very big numbers, over 12 billion engagement more than Tokyo. And I think that what is the real positive was the 32 million new followers that Paris 2024 digital channel got. So a true success. So as we say up there, Paris 2024 was a record-breaking Olympic Games, not only on the field of play. If we go to the next slide, we go a little bit more deeper in media. So when we talk about media, there were nearly 25,000 accredited media, and that includes rights-holding broadcasters, includes the host broadcasters, and include the press. When we talk about press, we say press are including written press, photographers, and non-rights holders. So we gave out, as IOC, 5,733 accreditation for the Paris Games, and obviously, it was the coverage that the Games got was a reflection of that variety of press on the ground in Paris. As you know, we've been engaging for a few years now in trying to monitor the gender equality in the press corps. Lots of work to be done still, but we've seen a little increase in the amount of females in the teams of the media organization. We went up to 23% journalists that were female in Paris, and for the broadcasters component, it was 26%. If we go to the next slide, lots of numbers here, and actually the most important numbers are at the bottom, so you will actually not see them. But again, what I've just said is that we got to a 77th male population to 23%. On the IOC, we'll keep pushing. As many of you know, we also have a working group within the IOC Press Committee looking at gender equality in press. And we know that a lot of newsrooms simply don't have female editors or female photographers. of female journalists, but on our side, we will keep pushing and bringing the topic on the table. There's been, the good news is that there's been improvement. So if you go to the next slide, you'll see that looking at the data from back to 2004, so 20 years. In 20 years, again, I don't know if you see the last line, but basically we've gone, no, if you can go back to the slide. I was saying last line, not last slide. No, here, stop. So from Athens, where we were just over 12%, we got to Tokyo and then Paris at 23%. So that's been an increase. Again, we are fully aware that we cannot push for your news editors to send females, and we also recognize that sports media, we still have a lot of ground to cover, but we think that bringing the topic on the table and making you all aware, you might think once you are building up your teams for the next games, or maybe there's that nice photographer, and maybe she's not in sport, but she's growing into photography, and maybe send her to cover the games. If you go to the next slide, I think a few points that are reflections that we at the IOC are making when we look at the game. So the one thing that is clear to everyone is that we have an evolving media landscape. There are two main topics that are currently being addressed at the IOC. One is that all of you and all of the media industry cover sport in different ways. And we, as IOC, need to address how to include all the different ways and all the evolving way of covering the sport that is out there in the industry. So we are definitely working on that. The other topic is that the footprint of venues is becoming quite difficult. Press and photo capacities need to be looked after carefully. And also we want to make sure that only the legitimate press and legitimate photographers have a place to work in. So we are looking carefully at how to make sure that we can preserve the working condition of the accredited media at the Games without wasting too much space. And that possibly the way to do that will be by having more high-demand events, because high-demand events allow us to assign tickets to legitimate media that has to cover the events. And also we want to take into consideration the working flow in a venue. So just to give you an example, swimming finals in Paris were a high-demand event, and I went there a big night, one of the nights that was biggest when Marchand was competing. And I looked at the press seats during competition, and there were a big chunk of press seats that was empty. And you know why? Because there was a huge amount of you that were working from the mix zone. And now, obviously, you were in the mix zone, and when you are in the mix zone, your seat is empty. And so there are some sports, like athletics and swimming, where some media covering the sport, they don't go to the press seats at all. They just stay in the mix zone. So if we find ways to arrange in a way that those seats don't stay empty and other media that are covering from the seats can be there, we will have more media in the venue covering the sport. We will not have empty seats, because you know what happens when there are empty seats in the venues? I always got called off by my boss and says, "You have always scoped press tribunes at swimming." I said, "No, I'm not." "Yes, you have, because look, the photo, it's empty." And obviously, you have to then debate and demonstrate why they're empty. And as I said, they're empty because all of you guys, or whoever was covering swimming, was in the mix zone. But there's a lot of scrutiny out there, and the footprint in the venues is becoming very, very, very valuable. So be prepared, and we're working on some new ways of making sure that all media can cover the sport in the best way, but we don't have empty press seats, because that doesn't do any good to us. We're also revising the terms and conditions for press accreditation, because we want to make sure that the accreditation go to legitimate independent media. We've seen in past games sometimes that's not been the case, and we want to try a fair way and a logic way to make sure that independent working media gets accredited at the games. If we go to the next slide, I think we'll start talking about Milano Cortina. The only thing I want to add two things because I deliberately talked about accreditation. Once I want to answer to your question, as per today, all the requests for accreditation or increase of quota that we've received from the NOCs have been satisfied. So there is no waiting list, and every NOC that has come to us with a legitimate reason to ask for more quota have been given the accreditation. So you should make sure that the media who are impacted go to their NOC, and if they come with a valid reason, you can make sure that we accommodate that, because we fully agree that there might be need for more accreditation due to the geography of the games. But up until now, as per today, we don't have a waiting list. Everybody has got what they wanted. Okay? The second point I want to say on accreditation before we go on is that we've introduced in Paris the NOCE and NOCES accreditation. What are these? These are accreditation for NOC press attachés and NOC communication people who are producing content. I want to bring to this audience the reason why we did that, because I think sometimes it's seen as giving more to the NOCs. Actually, what we've done is that we wanted to make sure that we could see how many accreditations were used by the NOCs in their quota. So NOCs who are using a press accreditation for them have to have an NOCE or an NOCES, which is for specialized media. By doing so, we know that the entirety of the E category, which is, the E category that you have on your accreditation, goes entirely to the independent media. And it's been very useful for us to see in Paris how many of these accreditations have been going to the NOCs from their own quota and how many have been distributed. And that's something that we are replicating in Milano Cortina, and we're working on to ensure that there is a better mechanism to ensure, as I said again, that the legitimate media gets the accreditation. Going to Milano Cortina very quickly, Valentina has said everything. I just wanted, if we go to the next slide, to mention what we will be doing. Me and my team, we will be in between Milano and Cortina, mostly Milano with an office at the main press center. Just as a reminder that what IOC Media Operation mostly does at the games, apart from working closely with the press operation team, we assign tickets for high-demand events. If you go back to the next slide, this is just a reminder for documents that have been published, and documents, to be aware of the rules ahead of the games is a good idea. So the news access rules is a very important document for all of you to understand what is possible to be done in terms of moving images and the use of moving images. I suggest you go and find this. All these documents are published on olympics.org. Sometimes it's difficult to find them, so you have to go to olympics.org, not olympics.com. And then you have to go into documents, and then you have to go into the games edition, and then you have to scroll down and you'll find all the media documents. The coming soon that possibly you don't see is the editorial guidelines. If you go to the next slide, please. High-demand events, for now, the only confirmed high-demand events are opening and closing ceremonies. That, as you know, one is in San Siro, one is in Verona, as Valentina said. We have less positions for media in both venues compared to past games, but also because we are trying to understand how many working press will be in Milano and how many working press will be in Verona, consider that a lot of the other sports are spread around. For the other events that you see there, these are the events that have been traditionally, they've been high-demand events. We have not decided yet. We will only decide when we see that there is that the capacities that we have in venues is reduced compared to the demand. So traditionally, we have the final of ice hockey is high-demand event. figure skating finals and short track finals, but that has not been decided and will be announced just closely before the games. If we go to the next slide, very quickly, the Games Information System in Milano comes with a new name. It's called Media Zone, and that's due to the new partnership that we have with Deloitte in the delivery of the games application systems. It will be live from the 30th of January. If we go to the next slide, what I wanted to share with you, and exactly about the point of some of you might have difficulties in being at the same time covering figure skating, alpine skiing, and biathlon due to the distance. It's actually humanly impossible for these games. So the good news is that every single press conference will be live streamed on Media Zone. The flash quotes will be, again, the core of the activity of the Olympic Information Service. But the one initiative that I would like to highlight here that you don't see because of the chair is the OIS Remote Reporter. If you go to the next slide, please. So we've introduced the OIS Remote Reporters. What are these reporters? These are reporters that will be only dedicated to ask questions on behalf of accredited media. So we will publish on Media Zone their phone numbers, and if you need a quote from an athlete in Anteselva, and you are in Cortina or you are in Livigno, you can contact the OIS reporter and say, please, can you go to the mix zone and interview athletes such and such for me? That reporter will do the interview on your behalf, and then it will pass you all the interview, the transcription of the interview, the recording, and you can use it, and then it will also be published on Media Zone. We have one OIS remote reporter per venue, and we hope that accredited media will take advantage of this new service. Next slide, please. Just quickly, because I know how AIPS is sensible on young reporters and young photographers, just very quickly to say that we are replicating the OIS sports reporting training program in Milano. We actually completed it. We had 95 students from 25 universities, and we've selected 10 students that for Milano Cortina will be working in the Olympic Information Service as reporters. We've also started in Paris, if we go to the next slide, a program for photographers led by Bob Martin. It was a success, and we were very pleased with it, so we are replicating that for the Paralympic Games in Milano Cortina. Bob is currently doing the selection process. We combine here a photography training program with a legacy initiative. So we are selecting participants from Italy, hoping that they then can cover Milano Cortina and the Dolomiti Valtellina Jog in 2028. And we are also selecting students from France to be possibly working at French Alps, and the USA for the Salt Lake City, Utah Games in 2034. We will have a total of 8 young photographers that will be working with Bob Martin and his team. I think that's all for Milano. Just a few things on Dakar. If you go to the next slide. Very quickly, it's such a pleasure to work on the Dakar project with my colleagues Abdoulaye and Mama Fatou. We are super proud and happy to go to Dakar, and as Abdoulaye is saying, we're making history by going to Africa with the Olympic movement. On accreditation, just to clarify, the process is going to be the same as it's been for past YOG. There will be a link distributed in an IOC media advisory for you to apply. And what we are really looking at here, and it's a pleasure to see so many representatives from Africa media. What we are really looking with my colleagues here is to try and understand how many media will come to cover Dakar. Everybody is invited. But if you can, especially for the African representative, if you can engage with my colleagues here and share your views, because we are in the planning phase. We want to make sure that we have the right media facilities, but we are not really sure, because we don't have statistics from the past, what will be the attendance. So here it's really a request to the African representative to help us out. And on the IOC side, we will launch an IOC Young Reporters Program, class of 2026. The process will be launched in September. And I think that's pretty much it from my side. I hope I haven't forgotten anything. And as usual, thanks to APS for the collaboration, and thanks for Gianni for being always there when I need some support in dealing with some issues. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Lucia. Now, we saw what will happen in the next 2 years, but we all know what will happen in 3.5 years. So the best way to give some remarks of AIPS to Lucia is the president of AIPS America, Mr. Castellanos. Please come here and give a little present to her.
Thank you.
Okay, after Olympics, now we are at the academic sports. This will be the FISU presentation by Maxim Bernikov from REN-RUR 2025 Organizing Committee. And Mr. Bernikov, he's here. He will show you what they are preparing. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. We can start the presentation now. The slides, please. Okay, but then I can maybe make a short introduction. Yes, my name is Maxim Bernikov. I'm from the RAN-RUR 2025 FISU World University Games Organized Committee. I'm the manager of the media services, and today I'm going to present to you the concept of the event, the media operations that we are planning, and the two programs that we have developed for the young students who are interested in the sports journalism. So yes, we are all excited and looking forward next year to the Olympic events, but there is another major event, the FISU World University Games, which is taking place in just 2 months in Germany. This event is organized by the International University Sports Federation, the FISU. It is hosted every 2 years. There is both a summer and a winter edition. It is an event for the athletes who are still students at the university and who are from 18 to 25 years old. There are 15 compulsory sports in the program and the 3 that the organizing committee can select on its own. It is 12 days long, and there is a special focus on the education, on science. That's why part of the event is also the FISU World Conference, which brings young researchers from around 40 countries, and then they exchange their knowledge there as well. So if we move to the next slide, please show the video now. Okay, there is no sound at the moment, but you can imagine that there are people cheering, expressing their emotions.
And everybody is all in.
Ik speel me.
Yes, thank you for the video. On the next slide, you can see an overview of the key facts. So the dates are the 16th until the 27th of July. And the feature of this event is that there are 6 host cities. 5 of them, Bochum, Duisburg, Essen, Mülheim, and Hagen, are located next to each other in one region, which is called Rhine-Ruhr. That's why the event is also called Rhine-Ruhr. And 3 sports are taking place in the capital of Germany, in Berlin, which are swimming, diving, and volleyball. So, yes, there are 8,500 student athletes and officials who are going to compete at this event from around 150 nations, and the organizing committee will be supported by a team of 12,000 volunteers. On the next slide, we can see the sports on the program. The peculiarity here is that for the first time in the history of the FISU summer games, there will be 3-on-3 wheelchair basketball. It will be played on the same court with 3-on-3 basketball, and the athletes will be sharing the same facilities there. On the next slide, I would like to present to you some of the highlights of the last months. So at the beginning of April, we had a meeting for the heads of delegations from around 50 countries who came to Germany, to Düsseldorf, where the headquarters are located, and then they had a chance to visit the venues, get a status report from all the functional areas of the organizing committee, and also make an impression of the facilities there. There was also already a team draw, so now we know who is playing against whom in 3 team sports, which are volleyball, water polo, and basketball. For the first time, the FISU and us as the organizing committee did it in a digital way, so it was in a digital format. And now, as part of the FISU Games Flame Relay, the flame has reached the region, and it was accepted. It was greeted by the Prime Minister of North Rhine-Westphalia, which is the hosting region, Hendrik Wüst, and now it is going around the host cities in Germany. And in just 2 weeks, we are going to have another big milestone, which is the volunteer kick-off meeting. So the volunteers who have been selected for the games will be invited to come there to get some last information, to get to know each other, and there we will also reveal the uniform for the volunteers. Let's move to the media operations and the press services that we are going to deliver. There will be 1 main press center, 2 media hubs. With a hub, we mean that we will use the same press facility for more than 1 sport. Then there will be 10 venue media centers, which are used for 1 dedicated sport. And at some venues, because of the limited space, we will be offering the so-called media offices, where we have some limited facilities for the media. Our central media services team will be supported by 450 volunteers who will be working in 3 functional areas, which are broadcasting, communications, and media services. And additionally, we will have around 60 professionals who will be working at the venues as venue media managers, venue photo managers, and there will be also a team of the FISU Games News Service who will be producing the daily live reports and the flashcards. On the next slide, you will see a map of the venues and the press facilities. So in the yellow color in the center, you will see the sports in Essen. So Essen is the city which will be hosting most of the sports. And what is unique about the games and the press operations is that our main press center is located right there at in one of the halls of the exhibition center, and it provides direct access to 6 sports which will be taking place there. And just in front, there is another venue for the basketball finals, so we hope that bringing everything and using one big press workroom, and at the same time using it as a main press center will facilitate the work of the media. Let's go to the next slide. Yes, this is the main press center. We will offer all classical services that you are used to. Media info desk, media accreditation desk, press conference room. There we will also have the photo services from our partner, Nikon, and the offices for our central media services team and for the FISU media team. So now let's move on. Yes, and this is a media zone. It's called also media zone, but we use it in a different way. This is part of our website, just dedicated for the media, where you already now can access a lot of materials and information, starting from the announcement of the press conferences that are coming, press releases. There is a database where you can find the logos, photos, some other digital assets, the news, information about media accreditation, and the press clippings. For the games time, let's go to the next slide. We will expand it, of course, and we'll be running also this service for the accredited media. It will be a password-protected site where we will present the administrative information, like the operational side, and we will be also producing the flash quotes, news articles, previews. But if you click on the next slide, yes, and if you are able to screen the code, I hope that the armchairs do not block the view. You can already request also an access to this platform, because we are also using it not only for the accredited media who are on site, but we want to use it for those who are planning to cover the event remotely, because we will have all the information there, photos, flash quotes, reports, post-competition reports that everyone can use. Perfect, thank you for lifting it up. Let's go to the next point. Yes, something that I would like you to encourage, because you are all invited to come to Germany and to cover the event and to cover the unique stories of student athletes. The media accreditation was open at the end of March and will close on the 1st of June. Please take a picture of the NADA code to get directly to the page for media accreditation, where we explain some rules, some guidelines, some steps, and there is also an online form that should be filled out. So now, when we are done with the media operations and services, with this quick overview, let's go on, and I would like to present to you something that is an initiative of our organizing committee, but which is also something that we built on the existing project. So as you know, there is a program which is called the FISU AIPS Young Reporters, which has been conducted since 2011. And for our games, we have made some amendments and changes in order to achieve even more legacy for the students. So what we did is that we extended it to 2 new categories, to photographers and commentators, and we increased the number of participants and increased the educational period from 2 weeks to 6 months in the form of online guest lectures and workshops, which are also available not only for the selected participants, but for everyone who is just interested in this topic. And on the next slide, you will see a short video as we launched the global recruitment in February, asking everyone who has an interest to apply. And yeah, this was a short promotional video from our side.
Every great moment deserves a storyteller.
Capture history. Embrace the world of media coverage and join the team of young sports media talents.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. So yes, as you heard, every great moment deserves a storyteller. That was exactly something that we wanted to achieve with this program. And yeah, here you see these two additional categories. Photographers will be producing photos for the media info, and the commentators will be working in a tandem with the professional commentators and doing the audio description for the people who have visual impairments. On the next slide, you will already see the participants which we have selected for the photographers team. There are 5 international students coming from France, Great Britain, Czechia, Brazil, and Singapore. The other 5 are from Germany. This program is supported by Nikon, as all the photographers will get professional equipment and also a workshop. On the next slide, you will see the team of the young commentators. All of them are coming from Germany because we are delivering this service for those who are on site. And the next slide, there is a question mark, because in the next days we are going to announce the 12 participants of the FISU AIPS Young Reporters Program, and we are also excited to see who will represent Africa in this group of young students. Let's go on. There is one last thing and one project that I would like to mention in my presentation. I mentioned that we wanted to use this opportunity also to educate these young reporters. That's why there is now a platform which is called UMedia, accessible through this link, and then it offers different kind of content. Please switch to the next. Yeah, we have done it with 4 partners, 3 universities, and 1 organization. 1 university is from Portugal, the University of Porto. The other 2 universities are the University of Media in Stuttgart, the University of Tübingen, and as I mentioned, an organization for audio description. On the next slide, you will see what we are offering on this platform. There are educational materials, like there are explanation videos of each sport, there are glossaries, there is a list of the athletes who have been outstanding, who achieved some results at the previous games, so that the reporters, the young reporters, the students who are going to cover the event, a sports event for the first time, could use this information already in advance before they come and educate themselves. On the next slide, there are some screenshots. Yeah, the 5 rules, for example, to know the glossaries, as I mentioned, a list of athletes, and then there is even a quiz just to test the knowledge of each sport and see, for example, how would you act if you were a judge or a referee in one particular sport. I think that yeah, the last 2 slides will show you yeah, something that we are doing. These are the public guest lectures that we are offering on different media topics. And on the very last slide, you will see a picture from the workshop. Please go next. Yeah, that we had for the young commentators that are going to come to the event. So that's it from my side. I think it took a bit longer than planned. But yeah, on the next slide, you will see my personal contacts as well. So I would be very glad to get in touch with you. And I'm also inviting you once again to come to Germany to cover this event, to share with the world yeah, the achievements of the athletes and to find some nice stories that the world should know. So thank you again, and have a good yeah, agenda for the next 2 days. Thank you.
stay with us a little bit long, because a little bit more, because Mr. Emanuel Fantaniano, the long-time serving EC member, will present you award.
One last remark. I will pass it on to the International University Sports Federation, the FISU, yes, to the colleagues there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And now some celebrations. I would like to remind you that AIPS every year is giving the special award, which is presented by Hungarian Sports Journalist Association, to the best press facilities in the last year. So for this year, well, maybe Zsuzsa Csisztu from Hungarian Sports Journalist Association will be better to announce everything instead of me. Zsuzsa, please. And with her will be György Szelesi, of course, Zsuzsa. And György Szelesi will, of course, be with her to present the big trophy, and Zsuzsa will explain to whom and why. Zsuzsa.
Thank you so much, Mr. Secretary General. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, good morning. It's great to see you all. We have a full conference hall and a great interest. And of course, since we are sport journalists, I think sometimes it's not just about us and not just about sports, but it's also important how we can work and what kind of working conditions we'll have in a major event. And it was great to see from the previous presentations that I think this is something that all the different organizations, starting from IOC, that they are trying to focus on helping our work and try to serve basically the viewers and everybody who is out there to sort of consume sports in a different way, to have the best experience possible. But in order to do that, of course, it's important how we can do our work. So this prize is basically established many years ago. It was established by the Hungarian Sports Journalists Association, as we call it, the Best Press Facility Award. And actually, it's been such a prestigious award that it's been growing to two different, I would say, category. So now we are awarding the single best Press Facility Award event, basically talking about a single sport event, and also we have the multi-sports event. So let me call upon our president as well, Mr. György Szelesi, because first of all, with two great colleagues, they had the privilege to carry this porcelain trophy all the way from Hungary, and I think he definitely deserves a clap that they didn't break it, so please. But to be honest, talking about this trophy, this is a handmade.
But the winner has to bring it home.
Yeah.
Another challenge.
That's going to be another challenge. So it's a handmade. It's a Hungarian small company, a manufacturing company that's making this very special porcelain made with 24-karat gold. And something that is also good to know that every year when we have the Best Athlete of the Year award in Hungary, the same company with the same looking trophy is presented. So it's for us is something that is really, really special. And of course, in the same time, this is also very important that we hope that the ones who are going to be receiving it, they are also feel delighted about it. So it is my honor to announce the Best Press Facility Award in the multi-sports event that was the Paris Olympic this time. Congratulations.
hold on. I'm just saying a little thank you. I'm really happy to be here today, and especially because last year I was in front of you, and just a couple of months before the games, that was pretty impressive. Thank you very much, because it's a really honor. And thank you to all of you, because you have been there. You have been experiencing our games. And as Lucia said, I'm still not able to cry while watching what we have achieved. So it's really great memories. So wishing the same thing to all the committees that are organizing something, and a special thanking to Milano behind us. And this prize is really a team effort. I mean, nothing would have been able to happen without the team. And definitely I had one of the best team ever. And thank you to Lucia, obviously, because of 5 years of supporting me as part of that journey. So thank you to all AIPS members. Thank you for being part of that family. And thank you to you, because it's a great honor.
Yes, and the AIPS Award 2024, the best press facility of the year in single sport events, UEFA Euro 2024. Thomas.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Big thank you for your recognition with this award. Wasn't expected, so I had to put my jacket on. It means a lot. Like Marie said, it's a super nice recognition for all the hard work, because the core of our mission is to give the best possible services and access to the teams and athletes, to all the media. So to know that it's appreciated is a big honor. There was a lot of hard work for Euro 2024, a lot of people involved as well. Big thank you to the 60+ people who helped deliver all these operations, and big thank you to all of you. And I'll be back a little later today to give you a bit of insight on what's coming on UEFA side, but big thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations. So thank you again, and dear colleagues, just keep on helping our work, because we're always on either this or that side. And the two good news is that we have 2 special boxes for those porcelain to carry it home. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Zsuzsa. Thank you, Georgi. You obviously noticed that I made a mistake and put the wrong thing on the stage, but we will make it better now. Do you know what is Senise Convention? I didn't know until 2 months ago, so let us hear what Senise Convention is from Rodrigo Cavaliero, chairman of Senise Convention, and after that, our Vice President, Ivo Lenvata, will join Rodrigo and explain why AIPS is so interested in it. Rodrigo?
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank AIPS for the invitation on the person of Mr. Gianni Merlo. It's an honor for me to be here and speak a little bit of the work of the Council of Europe and specifically about the Senise Convention. My name is Rodrigo Cavaleiro. I'm my background is from the police. I started in '98 in the police. Back in Portugal, where I come from, I'm the president of the National Authority for the Spectators' Violence at Sports Events, Prevention and Fight Against Sports-Related Violence. Can we go to the next slide, please? And I'm here on my capacity as acting chair of the Saint-Denis Committee. Well, the Saint-Denis Committee is the monitoring body of the Saint-Denis Convention, which I will explain a little bit later. But first, let me speak a little bit about the Council of Europe. Next slide, please. Can we go to the next slide? Oh, yes, thank you. The Council of Europe was established on the 5th of May, 1949, by the Treaty of London, 10 states at the time, and it celebrates this year the 76th anniversary. It comprises 46 member states, including the 27 European Union members. It is based in Strasbourg, and it is an intergovernmental political organization founded on these three main pillars: human rights, democracy, and rule of law. Well, the founding fathers of the Council of Europe in the aftermath of the World War II looked at sports also as a powerful tool to pass values, to build bridges to the people. Like Nelson Mandela once said, sport can change the world. I think we are all aware of that. So, besides the enlarged partial agreement on sport that the Council of Europe has, we also have three conventions dedicated to specific topics, or three main areas to protect sport, to protect the game, to protect the people involved. One, and most recently, match fixing. It's an issue for everybody, the integrity of sport. The Anti-Doping Convention is another one. And it started in 1985 as a response to the Heysel disaster, the Spectator Violence Convention, which was then updated by the Saint-Denis Convention. And why updated? Can we go to the next slide, please? Well, updated because it was many of its provisions weren't already updated. They needed to get updated. It was too much focused on spectator violence, and everybody was aware 30 years after that in order to prevent violence, we need to do more than just acting on the offenders. We have to have a more holistic approach over three main pillars, which are safety, security, and service. We have to make sports events more safer, more secure, but also more welcoming for everybody. So it's not just about applying penalties to the offenders and increase the cooperation between police authorities. It's much more than that. And that's why we also need AIPS, and I will explain a little bit of that later also. Well, the ethos of this convention is the multi-agency integrated approach. So basically in this committee, we sit people from all countries involved, experts from several areas, on the belief that the complexity of problems we face nowadays is such that nobody by its own can solve them alone. So we need each other. We know the expertise that each of us can add to such powerful tool that we have in this convention. So this is a dynamic convention. It's being updated all the time, all the recommendations that we have. And we identify several different key actors: government, municipalities, police, sports authorities, supporters, local communities. Well, we have so far 31 countries that ratified this convention, the Saint-Denis Convention. And we have 11 state observers, 10 non-state observers, and also 8 countries that signed the convention, but still haven't ratified it. Unfortunately, one of the good news we bring here today is that one of these 10 non-state observers is right now AIPS. Next slide, please. For you to understand a little better what is this convention about, its scope, and it comes from football, yes, professional football competitions, but it may and should be applied to other sports, including non-professional ones. On its aim, this convention aims to provide a safe, secure, and welcoming environment by adopting an integrated, multi-agency, and balanced approach, recognizing that the three pillars are interdependent and overlap, and taking into account the good practices and the learning that we do with all the countries involved from each event that we go over. We took some lessons recently from the Euro 2024 as well. We keep learning all the time with the new practices, with new challenges as well. Next slide, please. So for these three definitions of the three pillars, safety, we're talking about any measure designed and implemented with the aim to protect the health and well-being of individuals and groups who attend or participate in a football match or other sports events. We're talking about the athletes, we're talking about the supporters, the referees, many other involved stakeholders, and of course also journalists or photojournalists involved in these competitions. Then with security, we're talking about measures in order to prevent and reduce the risk to respond to criminal activities, to respond to violence. And service, this was the major upgrade of this convention, I would say. We're talking about making people feel appreciated, feeling welcomed. So the main idea for you to understand is if we can keep the ones who are responsible for violent acts out of the game, we can focus and should focus on the welcoming of all others who are there to have a good time and to make part of a festive activity such as a sport event. Next slide, please. So I'll run over slides because we're short on time. I think I'll pass on this one. Can we go to the next one, please? Okay, the convention is much more about the principles, and it should adapt to every country that should ratify. It's not too prescriptive. But then we have some recommendations for each of these three pillars that keeps being updated with good practices. So on our website, you can find each of these annexes of the recommendation number 1 of 2021 of the Saint-Denis Convention, where you can find all sorts of issues and topics about safety, security, and service, and also on Annex D, the checklists to check how the progress of the country within each of these pillars. Can we go to the next one, please? So, just for instance, this is the full list of topics and appendices of the Annex A. You can find here pyrotechnics, risk assessment, entry inspections, medical plans, emergency, safety maximum capacity, all sorts of issues that you can think about safety, they are here. And for this, we count, for update these issues, we count with experts from several areas. Next slide, please. On Annex B, more topics about policing football operations, dynamic risk assessment, also an important part of communication and media strategy in terms of how to communicate with people and how to pass an effective message when we face some serious situation like terrorism or organized crime on major sports events. I won't go over all the topics, of course, just for you to have an idea what is approach on each of them. Annex C, can we go to the next slide, please? Annex C, service, good practices. We speak about, again, the supporter liaison officers, communication with and dialogue with supporters. Well, all the welcoming measures that we can put into practice in some of the in all the events that are organized. Next slide, please. There are other recommendations also from the Council of Europe regarding the Saint-Denis Convention, like the model of a national strategy that each country should develop. And of course, communication in media is one of the main topics or should be one of the main topics of this strategy. There's no effective strategy without effective communication. And for that, we also need the help of the media. Next slide, please. Another recommendation on specific law on these safety, security, and service at sports events. A basic model that countries can develop in order to apply these principles, and also some other recommendations that are being drafted right now. one on collective bans, which has been a major issue last seasons, and also the possession and use of pyrotechnics at sports events, which is a specific problem that is rising all over, at least in Europe and South America. It's getting more and more used, especially by ultras groups and organized groups of supporters. Next slide, please. Well, and now this is the time where I would like to congratulate formally the International Sports Press Association for becoming formally an observer to the Saint-Denis Committee. AIPS was granted the status of observer, which allowed them to participate in all activities of the committee for the next 3 years, and it may be renewable. Currently, we have 10 non-state observers. Just for you to have an idea about other stakeholders that we have as observers to this committee, we have UEFA, you have Interpol, we have FIFA, we have FIFPro, Football Supporters Europe, European leagues. And of course, this acknowledges the relevance of sports press professionals as important stakeholders, not only news providers and important partners for the communication and media strategy, but also as potential victims of violence and misbehavior. And of course, it is up to us and for the states to grant the freedom and independence of the press and for ensuring human rights, rule of law, and democracy, and for safer, more secure, and welcoming sports events. Next slide, please. Now, some tools you can bring home if you're curious about this committee and you want to learn a little bit more about this. You have in these hyperlinks, you have 2 online courses completely free in different languages. One specific to the Saint-Denis Convention in English, Polish, and Portuguese. These are the 3 main versions. I know that there's one also in Arabic that is being made right now. And then you have also the course on human rights in sport, also in different languages. Please visit the website and you'll be able to do this course at your own pace and maybe in your own language. Next slide, please. Just some images about this e-learning course. Again, about safety, security, and service, so I won't go into detail on it. Next slide, please. And a final message from the Council of Europe. Of course, this is up to each state to customize the principles of the convention to its own reality, because there's no recipe that may fit for all countries. So it's up to the countries to also diagnose their own situation and try to implement these principles at their own pace and to their own reality. And of course, when a country ratifies a convention, it gets access to all the help of the Council of Europe, and especially to the other countries and to this big network that we try to learn with each other, because nobody can say they know it all, and especially in such a challenging world that we live today, where things move so fast. Always new challenges. Drones were some years ago was something completely new. We all had to learn how to deal with drones. Now there's artificial intelligence and other challenges to face. We have to face them together, and that's the purpose of this network. So I would like just to emphasize, before I finish, that for a non-state observer like AIPS, they play a crucial role in the promotion and implementation of this convention, and we count with your help also to bring it, to move it forward and to deliver more and more safer, secure, and welcoming sports events for everybody. Next slide, and it's the last. So thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you so much, and I know some of you were surprised, and as Yura confessed, this morning I had a flurry of calls asking me, so what is it about the Saint-Denis Convention? And I remember when I first attended their meeting in Strasbourg last year in October, I was actually shocked that we have not been part of this discussion, because a lot of what we are discussing is what we are facing daily in our media activities. There was a debrief on Paris 2024 on the safety and security aspect for not only the spectators, but even for us as journalists, something we have been experiencing as journalists. A lot of our photographers and cameramen are always being targeted by spectators because they're very close to the field of play. So it is important that we are involved in such discussions at that level because they also got to hear from us and understand our experiences and how best they can secure us. And I just had one question. You know, you have talked about the three key pillars: safety, security, and service. How do we, as sports media, how can we be able to support these key pillars as we come in as observer status?
Thank you. Well, first of all, I think I gave some hints on the presentation. I think your personal experience and knowledge on the matter is crucial for us because this is groundbreaking for us because we didn't have this expertise on the media side. We had so many partners, but we missed this side of the story. And well, you go to so many sports events, you gather so many experience, you have your own network of journalists, of photographers, and all the professionals involved in media, that of course you are able to be an important contact point to bring us the lessons learned by these colleagues and to bring it to us also so that we can try to mitigate the risks, to include some of these provisions on the updates that we do on the convention. Then there's also the individual work that each of you, as a reporter, as a journalist, can do in your own, at home, at your own country, by the way how you deliver some news, by the knowledge that you have on the safety, security, and service perspective. The more you know about these issues, the more capable you are also to provide such information to the crowds, to the public. So this is also another important part of the collaboration that we expect to have with AIPS.
Great. And just one last question. When we look at the attack we face at the field of play as journalists. Sometimes you're seated on a tribune and then someone throws a bottle at you because probably they didn't like what you wrote. I'm sorry, what you wrote or what you photographed. But then it's increasing. It's increasing, as we have seen, especially in Africa. It's increasing a lot because we've seen some of our cameramen and photographers. For instance, last week in Kenya, a photographer was hit on the head and he had to be admitted in serious condition. How is this in your own overview? First of all, with your police background, and now as Senise, is this increasing, and how can we help to just, educate the public that we are actually partners in this, and without us, you cannot see what you actually like?
This is a very challenging question, first of all, because each country has their own reality. In some countries it is increasing, in some countries it is decreasing. But one thing that at least my perspective, I don't know if you share it or not, but it looks like we cannot rest on the successes of the past. We can never rest on the successes of the past. And we have to keep building more and more measures in order to tackle new challenges. But the better we do on our daily basis is not completely separated by how things go over in society. So in the end of the day, we are also affected by how things are evolving in society. And the more violent the speeches get, the hate speech, the more rage, the more angry the people seem to be, in the end, it will all also happen in the field, in the sports events. It's not only in society. But of course, we cannot quit doing the best we can, and we have to protect sport as the tool, the important tool it is to promote the values and do our own change in the world through sport. So it's the best answer I can give you in a general way. Thank you.
Thank you. I think you've answered a lot of my questions, and we are glad to come in and support your work as observers and looking forward to this partnership. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, maybe, just maybe, you have noticed that we have some technical problems. So, we want to fix them. To fix them, we don't want you in this hall. Coffee break and FIFA presentations in 10 minutes. Thank you very much.
However, a site visit to Karato Stadium by Africa Uncensored on June 19, 2024, reveals it is still My name is Tracy Pudariri, a fact checker at Africa Uncensored, and I am not your regular sports fanatic.
All together. All together. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's not a big problem, no. Thank you so much.
And small. Hey.
Can you take a seat? Thank you. Can you take a seat, please? Can everybody from outside get in? Can you call the people from outside to get in and take the place, please? Can you please take your seats? Okay, Mr. Hidon is here. We can start. Thank you very much. We can close the door because our next topic is regarding FIFA. We all know what FIFA is, but first of all, let's hear gentlemen, ladies. Hello. Thank you. First of all, let's hear the president of FIFA, Mr. Gianni Infantino.
Dear President Merlo, caro Gianni, dear members, dear friends, welcome to Morocco, welcome to Africa. This is the third time that the Association Internationale de la Presse Sportive has gathered in Africa. And my only regret is that I cannot be in Rabat with you as you meet in this wonderful country among your global membership. Rabat has special importance for FIFA as it is the home of the FIFA Africa office. And Morocco also has a major role to play in global football as the country is set to co-host the FIFA World Cup in 2030 with Portugal and Spain. A wonderful partnership between Africa and Europe to stage the centenary edition of the FIFA World Cup, with some celebration matches also taking place in South America. Indeed, football in Morocco has enjoyed some memorable moments recently, not least qualification for the knockout stages of the FIFA Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand in 2023 in their debut in the tournament. And of course, the historic qualification to the semi-finals of the FIFA World Cup in Qatar in 2022. And Morocco will be staging the next 5 editions of what will be an annual FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup as from this very year. The work of the Association Internationale de la Presse Sportive has certainly contributed greatly to the popularity of football in particular. You show and describe the amazing feats of the world's most talented players to the eyes and ears of billions of fans globally. You are often the conduit through which football unites the world, and that is something you will do again at the FIFA Club World Cup this year in the United States. At the FIFA World Cup as well, in 2026 in the United States, Canada and Mexico, and at the FIFA Women's World Cup in 2027 in Brazil. I want to also reference the veteran FIFA World Cup journalists who celebrated a special moment at the last tournament in Qatar, including dignitaries such as Enrique Macaya Marquez from Argentina and Hartmut Scherzer from Germany, as well as Jorge da Silveira from Uruguay, who sadly passed away shortly after the tournament ended. Equally, I want to also reference American journalist Grant Wall, who passed away during the tournament itself. Both Jorge and Grant were great, great losses to our sport. A free, independent press is one of the fundamental pillars of any democratic society. The tremendous work that AIPS does helps keep that in focus as you defend the right of journalists to work, speak, and write freely within sport all around the world. But just as importantly, you also cast light on the human stories of the pitch, reminding us of the unique power of football to be a force for good and a force for change. You help ensure that the beautiful game remains rooted in passion and happiness. And those that govern it, like FIFA, keep the best interests of football at heart. There are award winners, I know, and congratulations to each and every one of them. But I also want to congratulate you all and the AIPS for your work in promoting the beautiful game. And I wish you a fantastic and fruitful Congress. Thank you all, and I really look forward to seeing you at the FIFA Club World Cup in the United States later this year. A great competition. I wish you all the best. Goodbye.
And now, continuing the story about FIFA, Ivan Pasquariello will tell us more. Ivan.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. So we start with a little video. Hopefully it works. Quite catchy, isn't it? Okay, we can move to the next one. We have seen the president's speech, so that was very nice. And we, as Mr. Infantino said, we're here to introduce this competition this year, which is the Club World Cup, which will debut very soon in the United States. I flew from Miami to come here and see you all. Thank you again, Gianni, for the invitation. We're very happy to talk about this new competition. So in the next slide, we'll introduce you a little bit to the Club World Cup 2025. As you saw, we have a new brand identity. These are exciting times at FIFA because of this competition and the World Cup, also in the United States, Canada, and Mexico next year. For the Club World Cup, you will see we have a new trophy, we have a new brand identity, we have the biggest clubs in the world competing, and making football truly global, we do represent all confederations and the biggest clubs in the world. We have 63 matches, 8 groups, 32 clubs, and we debut on the 14th of July in Miami. So we're very close. Next. As you see, the qualified clubs, we are going to have one more edition on the 31st of May when we have a playoff match, which will be played soon. And then we'll complete the list of 32 qualified clubs. As you see, the biggest clubs of the world will be competing in this competition, which is super exciting. Next. The group format is something that we absolutely enjoy. It's going to work very well because it follows really the World Cup format. So again, we have 32 clubs. We had 32 teams in Qatar. We're going to start with the group stage and then move on and then have the knockout and play the final in New York. We won't have a third place match for this competition. This is really where we're going to play. We're going to cover pretty much the entirety of the United States, starting from the East, Central, and then West Coast. We have a mix of stadiums. Some of those are NFL stadiums. Some of those will actually be the World Cup stadiums, including, of course, MetLife in New York, which is where we will play the World Cup final in 26 as well. So very interesting because we have a very good mix of venues, and it's really interesting to work with these different kind of venues, and we'll tell you a little bit more about the approach for the media areas. Next. What's very important here, the match schedule. I'm very glad the chairs got removed because what's really important is DAZN is the broadcast partner for this event. All these matches will be broadcast free to air across the world. So this is very good, especially when it comes to covering the tournament. You will be able to see every single match free to air. You see the match schedule is quite intense, semifinals and finals to be played in New York, and then we debut on the 14th of June in Miami at Hard Rock Stadium. Okay, going more into the media ops side of things, I would like to echo what Lucia mentioned before, which is very important. When we say a sustainable approach here, I want to clarify it's an operational sustainable approach. I want to be clear about this because I'm not an expert on sustainability, but we are really trying to find a good balance between servicing you guys. We are on your team, always being on the media team, we'll always be on the media team, but we have to find a way to work with you, but also make the tournament sustainable. Meaning media areas, we will use what's existing. We're not building media tribunes for the Club World Cup. We will use existing spaces. The media areas will be very compact. These US stadiums are very, very good state-of-the-art stadiums. So the facilities are very good and very compact. And then we try to innovate always. And that's why we're coming up with digital solutions, which I'll show you a little bit more into detail. We try really to maximize and help you in your coverage, but we try to stay sustainable in the way we occupy the stadium and the media areas within the stadium. Next. So, to give you a little more detail on the media areas, everything you're used to will be there. It's just going to be a little bit different, and I want to clarify this, especially when it comes to the media tribunes. So we are going to use the press boxes. The press boxes is something that exists in the United States throughout the football season, and that's where media are. What's very important is, for American football, the main location for press is the end zone, which is obviously where you have the touchdowns and all of that. So we are, more traditionally on a FIFA side, used to be in the center and have the media tribune built right in the center within the 60-meter lines. We are not going to have that. We're actually going to keep the press boxes. Those are very nice area. They are air-conditioned, which I believe me, you will need, especially in Miami in June. You already need it now. So you will be protected, you will be air-conditioned, and all the media areas will be very easy to reach from the press box. For everything else, we are also trying to enhance the content opportunities for the media. So we're trying to give you new ways of maximizing coverage. We want to make it worth for you to come and join us in the United States, and that's why we are coming up with some new ideas. First of all, we're going to introduce new changes to the mixed zone format, which I will explain to you in the next slide. We will have, sorry, not going back. I'll come to this right after. We will go back. We will have a guest arrival carpet, so we'll actually try to also introduce a new media category within the Club World Cup and the World Cup. We will make a red carpet event in Miami for the opening match, and then in New York for the final, which is a great opportunity to also invite new media and have a different kind of coverage. We will open the team arrival to photographers for the first time. This was exclusive to FIFA before, whereas now photographers will be able to see the team arriving at the stadium and then take a photo of the team exiting the bus and entering the venue. And then finally, we will organize matchday -1 mixed zones at the training sites, which will give an opportunity for media to interview players rather than the traditional press conferences. Is that me? Is it? Sorry, I'm radioactive. Okay, so talking about the mixed zone a little more into detail. So you see those booths. This was the Super Bowl last year, which was in Las Vegas. I was very lucky and able to attend, and we saw these booths that were created where all the NFL players go to speak to the media right after. You also, if you attended the Euros in 2024, UEFA has very successfully delivered this sort of concept. So we are trying to have the same, and we're trying to change it a little bit to ensure that we can make everyone happy. Is everyone going to be happy? We're not sure. But what we look forward is your feedback. So if you do come to the United States, if you do have interviews in the mixed zone, please let us know what you think. Criticism is very welcome. It helps us to grow. So what we're trying to do with this mixed zone, which will officially change the name to iZone as of the last matches in New York, is we will have predefined stations. What that means is we want to avoid the stress of media having to run around and try to stop the players themselves. We're also changing the rules. We no longer have the entire team having to go through the mixed zone. It will be selected players, 4 per team, with the agreement that these players will speak. So you are sure you're going to have content, but also we don't have to stress about trying to see, is the player going to stop? Are they going to speak? Where are they going to stop? We try to clarify all of that. There will be enhanced technology, which means there will be speakers, there will be microphones, so you will be able to hear without having to jump on top of each other. And then what we are trying to achieve is also to strike a balance. So we will have two different areas in the mixed zone. One will be dedicated to what we say the national media, which could be national for the, for the Club World Cup. This is obviously a different concept, but it could be by language or it could be by national media. And then a more international station, which will be dedicated to everybody. What's really important in the international station, as of New York, we will have simultaneous interpretation in the mixed zone, which is very new, and hopefully they will help you to gather more content and being able to interview players not in what is the language you know. So for instance, if you have a Juventus player playing in the final, then you'll be able to ask questions even though you don't speak Italian, which for us is very, very exciting. Also, the content will be filmed and will be distributed. So we're really trying to enhance the way you can cover the mixed zone. Speaking of digital innovations, so if you have attended the Club World Cup, media ticketing started to go in that direction. We're now really taking the next step, and we want to create a full-on experience for you, which is 100% digital via the FIFA Media app. So I'll tell you a little bit more about it. You will see the media app will be your tournament companion for the Club World Cup and then again for the World Cup. We are very, very excited to launch this app. It will have all the services you need. Everything will be at your fingertips. You will have the calendar of media activities, the schedule of media shuttles. You will know where to watch the match. It will tell you the maps of the training sites. It will tell you where the media entrance is located. It will also tell you what services are available at the venue. Media ticketing will be there completely digital. And then what's really exciting for us is we'll be able to send you, if you allow us to, so please do allow us to send you push notifications. That's very, very helpful. We have an issue sometimes where, of course, for you, for the media attending events, it's difficult to keep track of what's happening all the time and what is the key information to receive. Via the media app, you'll be able to really get the notification, which is time sensitive and related to the place you are in that moment. So if the mix zone is about to start, for instance, then we will know the mix zone is about to start. One thing I didn't mention on the mix zone is we're also including a time limitation for the clubs, so they will have to give us players within 60 minutes. This is one thing we really worked on, especially because of the past experiences we had. We don't want media having to wait 2 hours, 3 hours after final whistle to get a quote, so we do have this 1 hour limitation where you will start to finally have players in the mix zone. So exciting times. Please do download the media app if you haven't downloaded it yet. You can also register on a media hub if you haven't done so. It's really, really a one-stop shop for everything you need. Once the tournament starts, it will really be something you need absolutely to maximize your coverage and to be up to date with everything related to the Club World Cup. Since we're touching media services, I'll tell you a little bit more of what services you can expect in the United States. We have media accommodation, going back. At discounted rates, we'll have camera loan and repair services with Canon, Nikon, and Sony. We have media dedicated catering with discounted prices. We will help you reaching the United States, especially when there's a lot of information you need on customs, on everything you need about visa. We are your escalation point related to visa issues. Of course, the decision at the end of the day of who enters the country doesn't belong to us, but then we'll make sure that we can support you to, wherever possible, help you with the process. We do have media shuttles on match day, which is very exciting for us. So we will have media shuttles also on match day -1 when we move to the knockout phase. Media parking will be limited, but we will have media parking. And then, as I mentioned, media ticketing will be 100% digital. One thing we really enjoyed was the feedback we received from photographers in Qatar with the seat assignment, which can now be done live on the website. Now you can do it actually on your mobile phone or on the website, which means, again, you don't need to come to the stadium on match day -1 to collect your ticket. Everything will be done digitally and in a live environment. So We keep up the good work, I hope. I hope you will be able to experience these services. And then again, we really enjoy any feedback we receive. We are here for you. There's one more, I believe, which is the timeline. So we are in 25, and as you know, we have 25, and then we are approaching 26. Media accreditation for the Club World Cup is still open. It's a different process compared to the World Cup. We have an open accreditation process for the Club World Cup, which means anybody can apply. We are going to kick off the tournament, as mentioned, on the 14th of June. And then as soon as the Club World Cup is over, we're immediately into World Cup mode. So not much time for summer vacation. We will have the final draw in December for the World Cup. We will open accreditation immediately after the draw, and we will also open media ticketing in the first quarter of the year. And then the first big appointment after the draw is the team workshop, which will happen on the East Coast in March. And then finally, we kick off the World Cup in June 2026. Very exciting times. As usual, for the World Cup, we will have the quota accreditation system managed by the federations. So if you have questions on quotas and all of this will kick off very soon, and it will be managed as usual for the World Cup by the federations. That was me. I know there's questions. Go for it.
I saw that at the app you have the accreditation. No more physical accreditation, only at the mobile?
No. Accreditation will be physical. So you will always have the pass with photo and everything, because we have to ensure that your accreditation is your document throughout the tournament. What is great about the accreditation, though, is that the media ticketing system will be, let's say, connected to it. So you don't have to worry about, taking out your phone, scanning the QR code. No. Wherever you go, your accreditation will recognize your access, and so you will only have to scan the accreditation.
Nobody? Okay, there is one.
Maybe there was one at the back, I think, yes.
Hello, this is Rezwan from Bangladesh. Last World Cup, I went into the Qatar as a non-rights holder accreditation policy. Is there any chance to get the non-rights holder into the venue, not for watching the matches, for do the work into there? There isn't any scope in any venues there. So it's a problem for the non-rights holders accreditations policy, I think. So is there any chance to change these things?
So good news. Non-rights holders on match day for Club World Cup are in. So you will be able to come to the stadium on match day for the Club World Cup. For the World Cup, this is pending at the moment, so we can't promise anything. For the Club World Cup on match day, non-rights holders will be able to attend without a camera.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Oui. Moi, c'est Ange Nyakaya du Bénin. Nous avons fait la demande d'accréditation par rapport à la Coupe du Monde des clubs. La FIFA nous a donné l'accréditation, nous a même envoyé une lettre qu'on doit présenter à l'ambassadeur de notre pays. Mais il s'est fait qu'on a déposé ces deux courriers avec tout ce qu'il faut. Mais l'ambassadeur nous a demandé encore d'aller prendre une autre lettre au ministère des Sports. Donc, ce qu'on a demandé à l'administration de faire, j'ai un rendez-vous le 20 prochain à l'ambassade pour pouvoir voir si possible, je peux avoir le visa. Mais actuellement, en Afrique, les trucs sont compliqués. Les gens n'aiment pas, surtout nous les journalistes sportifs, nous donner des visas, surtout aux ambassades des États-Unis. Comment pensez-vous parier à ce phénomène? Merci.
Je suis désolé, parce que je ne vous ai pas très bien entendu. Désolé. Donc, je viens vous voir tout de suite après la présentation. Si c'est une demande d'accréditation, je vais vous parler tout de suite. C'est le visa. Oui. Si vous avez des soucis avec le visa, voilà. Vous me donnez le nom et on voit tout de suite ce qu'on peut faire.
Okay, sorry.
Fliss Mohamed de la Tunisie. Je demande pour les tickets, les matchs tickets avant Qatar. On a fait avant, par exemple, pour nous les photographes, pour choisir la place. Donc, on va au centre média et on choisit la place avec l'ordinateur. Maintenant, on peut faire ça avec l'application que vous avez parlé ou comment faire?
Correct. So, vous pouvez faire là, vous pouvez choisir vos sièges pour le match de votre mobile phone, de votre ordinateur. Ça n'importe pas où vous êtes, vous pouvez le faire. Même si vous avez un press editor that does the bookings for you, they can do it remotely. Donc oui, vous n'avez pas besoin d'aller au stade, le match est -1. Vous pouvez faire tout de la maison. C'est bien, hein?
Anybody else?
Voilà.
No?
Okay.
You were very good.
Thank you very much.
Stay with us a little bit more because our Vice President, President of AIPS Europe, Mr. Charles Kamenzuli, will give you a little memorabilia.
My name is Tracy Bonareri, a fact checker at
Interesting. My name is Jure. And now, you know that the AIPS is giving a lot of effort to encourage investigative journalism. Yesterday, during our big celebration, we had a lot of investigative works, video, audio, written. So it is very, very important for us. Because of that, I would like our president, Mr. Gianni Merlo, and also our friend Anas, who we met several years ago, to join on the podium and to ask to speak about investigative journalism. Gianni?
Anas, come over here. You sit over there now. We are waiting the microphone. Can you come? Okay. You go there. There. Now there is a video that Anas has given to us. Can you show it?
Life is short. If we have to make any meaningful impact on society, it ought to be done now.
Hello? Okay, this is perfect. But before to begin the chat with Anas, we would like to send also the other video regarding the girl that yesterday night has won the young reporter in Investigative. Please, can you send the video?
My name is Tracy Bonareri, a fact checker at Africa Uncensored, and I am not your regular sports fanatic. I live and breathe every movement in these fields, and it is that love for sports that brought me all the way to Kiambu County to check on the progress of Ndarugu Karatu Stadium, commissioned in 2017 and allocated a whopping 260 million Kenya shillings. In sports, stadiums are more than just venues. They're hallowed grounds where dreams are born and legends are made. Until the all too familiar mismanagement of funds and projects derails those dreams.
In another 3-4 months, the stadium will be complete.
That was Deputy President, now President, William Ruto at the Jubilee Party's manifesto launch on June 26, 2017, promising the Kiambu Stadium would be completed in 3 to 4 months. However, a site visit to Karato Stadium by Africa Uncensored on June 19, 2024, reveals it is still under construction. Given government's track record with budgets and timelines, let's look into this. In 2017, Sports Kenya awarded a 260 million tender number SKRT 005 2016 to 2017 for the stadium's construction to Smith & Gold Productions Limited, with a promise to complete the project by August 2020. According to the Business Registration Service, the firm was incorporated on July 16, 2013 and issued 1,000 shares. These shares are jointly held by Emerging Capital Holdings, which owns 700 shares, and Alois Kinyanjui Kuria, who owns 300 shares. By April 10, 2022, records indicated that Moses Kuria, then serving as the Gatundu South MP and now the former Cabinet Secretary for Public Service, was the director and shareholder, owning 999 of the 1,000 shares at Emerging Capital Holdings.
Are we being for real?
However, a subsequent search on July 9, 2024, revealed changes in the company's registration, showing John Ngugi Kamau as the new director and Invest Africa FZCO as the shareholder. Now let's talk money. So according to the Auditor General's report on Sports Kenya, the successor of the Sports Stadium Management Board, for the year ending 30th June 2017, 37,02,740 Kenya shillings had already been paid towards the construction of Karato Stadium. By 30th June 2019, an additional 24,193,202 Kenya shillings was disbursed. By June 30th, 2020, total payments had reached well over 102 million. However, by 2020, according to Google Earth, this is how far they'd gotten with construction. Nowhere. The Auditor General's report for the year ending 30th June 2020 further reported that value for money had not been achieved and warned that delays could lead to cost overruns, meaning the final costs could exceed the original budget. Meanwhile, an article dated 5th November 2021 revealed the grand vision of a stadium had seamlessly evolved into a pastoral paradise for the local cattle, an exemplary use of public funds in it. By 30th June 2022, a substantial 132,740,373 Kenya shillings, 51% of the contract sum, had already been disbursed. Yet, a physical verification on March 2nd, 2023 confirmed the site remained abandoned and incomplete. After a 2-year hiatus, construction of the stadium resumed in April 2023. They are now racing to finish it again. Despite the setbacks, the locals remain optimistic.
Sisi tunajua ikiisha itakuwa na manufaa zaidi, hata itakuwa na with more benefit than before.
Determined not to dwell on the past, but to focus on the benefits once the project is complete. The project manager promised to complete the stadium in time for the Moses Kuria Cup tournament finals, and the workers there seem optimistic about meeting this deadline. But at what cost? The delay of Karato Stadium is a clear example of project mismanagement, showing the need for better oversight and timely execution of public works. We leave Karato, hoping to return to cover sporting action rather than more delays. Thirsty for more corruption and mismanagement stories? Then dive into the chaos at wikileaks.africauncensored.online, the site they wish you didn't know about.
This, I think, that is an example of also the new journalism. We can do the new journalism in this way, as this girl has showed to us. Now, coming back to us, Anas. In 2019, it was the first colleague that was awarded for the investigative journalism, you remember? When you told that investigative journalism is not a crime, and that time was very special, because 2 days before our event, his friend that was working with him was killed in an ambush. I think that we have to recall something of that period. What happened exactly?
So it was actually a very sad moment when we got into investigating betraying the game in Ghana. So for those of you who probably have no idea about this film, the film was about football, of course, the biggest you can ever have in Africa. To be honest, I don't like football. I've never liked football. I just look at crime. And I recall one time when there was a disaster where 120 people had died. And it was a major disaster in Ghana, and I remember when going into the morgue to look for colleagues of mine who had gone to watch football. I really didn't understand why anybody should spend an hour or two in a football match. We are different. So, whilst there, I kept on asking the question that why did these people get killed over stampede? And I kept on asking questions. And the question was that there was something called poor officiating in football. So I got a bit alarmed, and I decided to look into football, Ghana Football Association, and to look at the Confederation of African Football, and then FIFA. So this is the film that dovetailed into Betraying the Game, which you just saw, and that aired on the BBC. It was a search to find crime, and specifically crime that affects humanity. Innocent citizens who had gone to just watch football. You know, on the African continent, in the face of the myriads of problems that we have regarding corruption in many sectors of the economy, football is the last resort for the poor and average person to have recreation. So if corruption sinks so low so that it seeps into the pores of sports, or better still, football, then it means the world is going down and down regarding the fight against crime. It is a place where we all go and expect to have fair play. But when you can buy yellow cards, when you can buy red cards, when you can fix a match, when you can bet, you can do anything, it takes away the spirit of the game. So I was particularly shocked when I realized that my local referees were taking money and handing over matches. I was shocked when I got that of the Ghana Football Association, and we got over 100 referees, all taking bribes. And I said, okay, maybe I should stop here. Then I'm like, okay, let me climb further. Can this happen in African football, which is the Confederation of African Football? And I went there, and it was yes. They were all taking money. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe some of these beautiful referees who were then built to go and work with FIFA, to go and be referees in the FIFA World Cup, would be nicer. It was worse. We had some referees taking money. And of course, some also rejecting. It's fair to be honest that it's not every day that you get people taking. Unfortunately, you pay a price for football. We climbed to the then FIFA, I think executive secretary or board member, I can't remember the exact, Kwesi Nyantechi, who was also the head of the Ghana Football Association, and we caught him in several incidents that led to his removal both from FIFA and the Ghana Football Association. but there's a price to pay. Unfortunately, a colleague of mine, Ahmed Swali, who I worked tirelessly with on this story, was shot twice in the neck and thrice in his heart. And that led to his tragic death. Do we relent because of this? No, it's a fight. It's a forward ever fight. Whatever happens, we stand. And we look at fairness in sports, fairness in football. Thank you.
The problem is that, as you can see, he's compelled always to cover his face. And this is something that is shocking for us, no? Because why not to look in the face of somebody? Because there is a big danger. After 6 years now, how is the situation? How you look, even the future?
Well, after 6 years of betraying the game, the future looks promising. Why? Because lots more African journalists are taking keen interest in asking or following the money. So that if FIFA has given money to an association to build stadiums, like my colleague in African Uncensored just displayed, we are more interested in finding out the who's and the whys, whether those stadiums have been built or not. So it's been a gain. However, these gains have come with also problems. We know that it's much more expensive investigating football-related issues because it's not segmented at a particular area. So that your normal budget will have to shoot up 5, 6 times because you have to travel from this end to that end. That's football. Also, the rate of people's passion has not decreased. Now, it is positive to have people being passionate about football or being passionate about sports. However, the key thing and the danger of this passion is when you, the journalist, has investigated something that goes to the core of the fan base. They are angry with you, they declare you a persona non grata, and that's where the dangers have increased. So when you look across the world and the African continent, the danger keeps coming. People keep dying as a result of wanting to unravel the mysteries surrounding circumstances within sports. People are so passionate that they don't have the time to even remain fair. When they say, I support Manchester United, that's what it is. I die with it. You cannot say anything wrong about that team. When they say local football, I support Hearts of Folk or Asante Kotoko. They are so passionate. So anyone who wants to take away this passion faces a higher level of danger. So 6 years, it's been a smooth journey, but we haven't relented. We continue to fight. Thank you.
I think that it is very clear this, but to the new generation of journalists, now that investigation is not so easy also, because to become a journalist of investigation, there are two kinds, no? A group of newspapers that are putting money in a number of journalists that can go to investigate and they have the possibility, financial possibility to the work. And also the other is the girl that we have seen, that they have no budget, but they want to try to find out the truth. How do you think that it's possible to tell to the people there is still a future for investigative journalism?
Yes, the path will never be smooth. It will be difficult. But the more difficult it is, the more we also prepare. I've spoken about financial difficulties, but we also appreciate the new media because the new media has also made it very possible to do certain things within the scope of your room, to be able to get in touch with places that geographically becomes impossible to go. The new media has created avenues to get files, restricted files. We have Freedom of Information Acts that permeates through some major African countries, which allows us to be able to get data as and when we need. So in as much things keep tightening, we always have to find a way. It's never going to be rosy, but I can tell you that the new generation of young people, unlike times where people are restricted to pure television and newsprint, today the new media is wide. There are podcasts, there are TikToks, there are Facebooks, and we can jump on those things to do proper interrogations. That is not supposed to say that the financial backing is still needed. We needed to push it further. The dangers are still there, but we will not relent. We will push forward. Thank you.
But how we can recognize, because with the new media, it's possible also to make a fake investigation. How we can recognize the good investigation from the fake investigation?
Fake news would continue to be a phenomenon that affects us, and that will not be restricted to only this generation, but the generations to come. Today, with AI, you can put any image, you can do anything, you can edit, you can do everything. So fake news is a real threat, but fortunately, we are able to fact check, and that's why the work we do is important, that there should be a difference between what an AI tool does and what a physical journalist does. And the fact that we have AI does not mean that we've lost our prowess to contact. Where a journalist can walk to in the mud, AI can never work with. AI only makes use of data that is available to it, and that's why people are able to do fake news. The best way of combating fake news is to be real journalists, to be honest, and to be able to play fair in our reportage, to do all the cross-checkings that we are able to do. When we do all this, there will be no room for fake news.
You are a little bit optimist. This is a very good thing, no? Because especially for an investigative journalist, to be optimist is not so easy sometimes. But exactly, when you're looking into the future, because after 6 years you have had a lot of different experience, no? Even the job for an investigative journalist is still possible at high level, or only some small group that are financed by the top newspaper can work?
Well, 6 years now, here am I. I'm still wearing my mask.
Yes.
6 years now, we have not found the killers of Ahmed Swale. That is the reality. Because, you see, we have to understand that you are not fighting a vacuum. You are fighting organized crime. As we prepare as journalists and work out every single day in quest for the truth, there are some other people who also prepare in quest to disrupt the truth. People make heavy financial gains from spinning, from telling lies, from bribing and other things. So it is a world of black and white. Do we have any choice? Do you go to black or you go to white? I have chosen to belong to the white, despite the difficulties that come along with it. It is never going to be easy. However, we ought to ask ourselves this simple question. Do you prefer to walk on the same street with that criminal? Or you prefer to do something that takes the criminal off the street? It is up to you to decide. But key thing is that the people who disrupt our investigations live with us in the society. We are better off fighting them toe to toe. We are better off facing the bull by the horn and proving our mettle despite the difficulties. So I am not here to pour cold water on the heat that comes. I have always said, journalism is a hot kitchen. If you do not have the energy, you get out of it. We choose this profession anticipating the dangers that come with it. We choose this profession knowing that we have laid or we will lay our lives for society. It's never going to be a tea party. But we have to choose hope over pessimism. Thank you.
Guys, I think that his experience is very important, and if after 6 years he's still compelled not to show his face, is something. Because I thought that this time he could come open, but the situation is not changed. And this in some way is terrible. There is anybody that wants to ask a question? Everybody shy? Sorry, no. Yes. A microphone over there, please. I can throw it.
Yes, Ahmed Al-Kaabi from Oman. First of all, I would like to say really thank you for the great job he has been doing for the last few years. And in my opinion, the most difficult job is the investigative journalism, because you are facing a very big challenges, especially in Africa, as the cases he has just explained. So he's not a normal journalist who copy certain news and spread it to others. No, he wants to change the game positively. Therefore, I'm very happy to see him and to hear from him. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Other? There are some. Can come closer, so.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm Isaiah Benjamin from Nigeria. I think his perspective is quite encouraging, but of course the risk that is associated with investigative journalism is very obvious. I want to ask, and I can say for free that a number of our colleagues in Nigeria have lost their lives trying to embark on investigative journalism. It's curious for me to want to find out what is a major step forward that one can, imbibe to ensure the safety of one's life in an attempt to carry out investigative journalism.
Well, thank you so much for your question. To be vigilant. It's very unfortunate how our minds run. You see, FIFA was just doing a very nice presentation of how they will help journalists and all that. For us investigative journalists, we ask questions. And when I am going to cover an event and FIFA says it will give me notifications, push notifications, immediately I start thinking, why do you have to give me push notification? Of course, for good reasons. But I ask that if there's a crime in FIFA, would FIFA notify me to go to that place and look for the crime? So I will accept what FIFA has said and take it. But I also ask myself that other question, that can I do something without the FIFA notifications? Do I need it? If there's crime, how do I go there? If FIFA realizes that there's crime here and it decides to direct me to the left instead of the right, how do I do it? That's how we think. For us investigative journalists, perhaps it's not about just coverage, but going behind the scenes and finding out what happened before or what will happen after that coverage. So it can be as a beautiful game as you see, all the accolades can come, but our thinking, we are more critical. We do more analysis, post or after the game. We always want to ask questions. So back to your question, our eternal vigilance is important. Our question asking is important. Our checking and double checking is important. One of the things that is able to fool us is people's public perception and image. Sometimes we look at people's image and think that because this person is this, it is likely that the person is not corrupt. No, that's not it. Always knock on that corruption door. Like I said with Ghana, I started with the Ghana Football Association. And I was shocked at the results. Then I went to the Confederation of African Football. I was even shocked more. Then I went to FIFA. That is how we probe in investigative journalism. And that is why you are a danger to those who benefit. Because they know that you will go till your last breath. Thank you.
Hamza?
Yeah, Hamza Masoud, young reporter, went in 2020. I'm working here in Morocco with Tuzem and Reuters Thompson as a stringer. Thank you, Anas, for the work you are doing. Thank you, Mr. President, for this special panel. My question, actually, I have two questions. First one, your family, your life, your personal life, how is it going in the last 6 years? My second question, as a journalist, I know that our work stops at a step. For you, is it important to bring the answers on the questions, to put the spotlights, or to follow up what will happen after this? Thank you.
Well, where does our work stop? Yes, where there's a huge difference between me and other journalists. So apart from being a journalist, I'm also a lawyer. I'm a barrister. And I was called to the bar 13 years ago. So when I go undercover, I pick evidence that I can put before the court of law to ensure that the bad guy is jailed. So where does journalism stop is up to you. But I don't see anything wrong with taking a step as a journalist. The days of believing in exclusivity is far gone for me. So when I say a crime has been committed, I'm showing you the hardcore evidence of how the crime was committed. I am also going to the court of law to testify, ensuring that the bad people go to jail. Now, Nana Kwesi Agyeman, a man who raped girls as young as 3, was jailed 15 years. My story about human trafficking, Chinese sex mafia, they were jailed 45 years. MV Benjamin cocaine saga, they were jailed 13 years. All because I didn't leave it there as journalism. I said, no, I cannot be walking on the same street with that person who has committed the crime. So I take one step forward and testify in the court of law. Does that make you a journalist? I do not know. Does that make you a spy? I do not know. Does that make you a non-journalist? I do not know. What I know is that the evidence of this is palpable in my society. The community I live in appreciate it because at the end of the day, they get out on the street and realize that that criminal is behind bars. Back to family. It's difficult. And family means nuclear and extended family when you do this job. And I can tell you that there's been a lot of difficulty in the last few years of this journalism. You can't sleep with your 2 eyes closed. You have always one eye opened. You cannot live in a place for a long time. You always have to keep changing their schools, moving them here and there. And we haven't forgotten lawsuits. For example, in this film you saw, I had about 66 lawsuits. 66. Where am I going to find the money to defend myself? That's one. The people sue you knowing very well that you do not have the capacity to find the income to engage lawyers. Guess what? I never lost any of them. I won because my film or my investigation was based on hardcore evidence. And when you base your work on hardcore evidence, the results will stand the test of time. Thank you.
Last question, okay, from Iran,
Yeah.
okay?
Thank you, Gianni. My name is Meysam from Iran. I want to say thank you, AIPS, for bringing this critical matter. And I believe in this case, as a world-class association, we have some responsibility about our investigative journalists. I want to refer you a huge research that conducted by the New Yorker in the US, and based on the results of that research, I remember on the top of the list of audience expect from the media, they ask traditional journalists to follow the investigative journalism, and it was the base of New Yorker new plan, specifically in the era of social media. My question is, did you receive any support, specifically legal support, from your national association, or if you ask organizations such as FIFA, IOC, I don't know. And I have a question, Gianni, can we have this specific service for investigative journalists to support them legally in the scale of national association or international association level? Thank you.
You know, when you see FIFA here, like you just saw, and they tell you that we have prepared press rooms for you, it will be fully air-conditioned, and you will be happy. That is not the kind of support we talk about. Support to investigative journalism is not a 9-day wonder. I don't know how, but I know I have had deliberations with AIPS, and I know their vision for investigation, their passion to protect sports. Unfortunately, our football associations and international football associations see us as enemies. And it is very possible, in my case and other colleagues of mine, you find the football associations and sports associations rather suing the journalists. Many cases, they will take us to court, we have to defend ourselves. I am not saying that they do not have the rights, but as a football organization or a world organization who thinks that you have to protect your reputation, which is fair, like you said, there ought to be some incentives that will help us to be also to keep that spotlight, because it's when the two come together that we can forge ahead to have a better game. So we are not saying you should stop taking us on. You should when we go slapdash. But you should also invest in ensuring that we are properly trained, in ensuring that we have the right incentives. Sometimes it's not even about money. It's even just writing to FIFA for some information and see how long it takes. And that's why I was happy for the first time hearing the president of FIFA sending message of condolences to dead people. These things mean a lot to journalists who have spent their space in reporting. And as for this, our organization, #1 champions, and thank you so much for your work in helping us stand firm. It's always been with us, and I hope that being the frontiers of sports, we will continue to forge ahead for better incentives. That is not restricted to only on the sports reporting, but also enlarged towards those with critical eyes to see where the crime is and to report on those crimes. Thank you.
Another? Chao.
Soy Nicolás Falcón desde Uruguay y pregunto, ¿cómo se ve la inclusión en FIFA y en la...
Wait a moment that we give for the translation.
Correcto. Mi nombre es Nicolás Falcón y soy delegado del Círculo de Periodistas Deportivos del Uruguay.
Un momentito.
Ay, avíseme entonces, no tengo problema. Buenas tardes, soy delegado del Círculo de Periodistas Deportivos del Uruguay. Vine en representación con el señor Ernesto Ortiz y Josildo Pereira. Mi pregunta es la siguiente. ¿Cómo se ve la inclusión en FIFA y en UEFA y en el jornalismo, en el periodismo deportivo? ¿Qué importancia le da a ese formidable trabajo? Muchas gracias.
Can you repeat? One more.
Once again. Okay, Martin will translate.
Nicolás Falcón is from Uruguay, and he's representing the Uruguayan here. What's the importance that you give to having inclusion in your important work with UEFA, FIFA, and your investigations? The inclusion part, he asks.
Del jornalismo.
In journalism.
Well, I don't know whether I understand your question very well, but I think when it comes to a matter of inclusion, it depends on the scope of your story. If the scope of your story does not pass in those areas, you cannot manufacture it. It ought to happen naturally. So if your story has nothing to do with Olympics, you cannot bring it in. So normally when it comes to inclusion, even take it to the political levels, the core story that you're working on should include that. And if you looked at what my sister from Africa in Senise just presented, the video we saw earlier, you realize that we ask questions of who is playing supervisory role. Is it just enough for FIFA to send money to local clubs or to send money down? Who does the supervision? Who goes to check? And if there is a system that does the checking, why is it that that system has checked it and yet those things have not been built? Was the system compromised? If it was, who was the head of that system that got compromised? So, in short, when it comes to issues of inclusion, your story must determine what to include and what not to include. Thank you.
We have two more.
Yes, there is also Georgia here.
Okay, three more.
Okay. Akosia Amo from Ghana, AIPS Young Reporter 2019. Anas, I've watched countless of your documentaries, and I think the two major ones that caused quite a scare was the judiciary documentary you did. That put you in the bad books of the judiciary, and also the number 12, the football documentary. I want to find out, there's a lot of talk about funding. How are you able to fund most of your investigative pieces? Because you spend you use a lot of people to investigate, you go to so many places. How are you able to fund them?
Well, that's a critical question, and I believe that's what we are discussing here. And the more solid your work becomes, this doesn't happen within 3 days or 3 years of your career. You build strong connections as you go forward with your career. You build what we call credibility. It is important that you mentioned the judicial scandal. Remember, Justice, it was aired by Al Jazeera. So what it means is that there's some level of funding that then came from, not holistically, but some level of funding would have come from Al Jazeera, who got this film. Then you come to Betraying the Game, of course, BBC. And BBC did a story about my story. And that also is not a nail. I mean, BBC would definitely pay something for doing that story about your story. And so we also have our local outlets. We also do investigative work in other international media. So it is the amalgamation of this that helps you to be able to take that step. But I must say funding is a very, very, very important thing, because as I sit here, I have a lot of ideas. I see a lot of crimes, but I ask myself, do I have the capacity to fund it? And that's what makes our job vulnerable. Yet, you still have a lot of enemies whenever you touch on that. But I keep saying journalism is a calling. If you are called, no matter how difficult, no matter the financial pressures, you still will stay and you still keep the fire burning. Thank you so much, Akosua, for your question.
Thank you so much, Anas, and congratulations for your work. And I know there is still a lot to do in relation of corruption. But there is another file, another black spot within the sporting world that has been an arousing problem. I think it's harassment and abuse of especially youngsters in sports. So my question is that from the experience that you've learned as an investigative journalist, do you have like methods, techniques, something that can be adopted to sort of uncover these very shaming stories that actually really affect sports because of the pressure? Of course, pressure is huge. Everybody wants to be a champion. Every coach wants to raise up champions. And when you have youngsters, especially under 18 in sports involved, there are some very sad cases coming out uncovered, but probably there's still a lot left. So sometimes you can feel that even parents becoming sort of investigative journalists to find out what has been happening to their child or the children, but sometimes even parents involved in this pressure. So what your message could be for those who see these problems, how can they fight for these young athletes?
This is a very, very important question. But it's also very difficult for me to answer because it's an area that we are very interested in and have been looking at. Yes, we've seen a lot of sexual harassment within that sphere. But here's the situation. It takes a lot of embedding to be able to find this detail because we are interested in not just allegations, but finding the hardcore evidence to support those allegations. And usually when we hear someone's story, we send a team member to be around the team to see what that official continues to do. So it's a very, very niche area that we are speaking about. I know that we've gotten reports from many parts of Africa and the world where young people who are engaged in sports are being sexually harassed with the promise of being given better positions or being given lead roles in their teams. And it's something that we are keen on, and we hope that if we have the finances, we'll be able to crack one on the African continent. Thank you so much.
It's over? Okay, that one.
The last one.
Yes.
Merci, je m'appelle Liliane Chimimana, je suis burundaise. Merci pour votre témoignage. Alors, il y a des gens qui disent qu'un bon journaliste est celui qui est vivant. Est-ce que ces gens ont tort ou raison? La deuxième question, partons de votre expérience. Quelles sont les qualités comportementales un journaliste d'investigation doit adopter pour bien mener son travail? Merci.
You see, there is no story worth the life of the journalist. We all, in whatever we do, must live to be able to tell the next story tomorrow. So key, we have to remain vigilant. key. We have to always cross-check and check again. Because today the weapon is to get you wrong information, to use fake news to demonize you, the journalist. So our traditional role of cross-checking and checking ought to be alive every day. Then we also have to watch our backs. And we have to know that not many people are comfortable with what we do, and they will always want to come after our lives. Sometimes what we do allows people to easily come for us. We just have to watch our backs. We have to say that when anybody makes an attempt to find us and kill us, it shouldn't be so easy. They shouldn't find you on the market. We have to talk less and to do more action. Thank you.
So guys, I think that this was very interesting as usual. We know that I invite him to come because I was sure that was very important for us to continue to speak about investigative journalism. Because, as he said, first of all, the most important thing is to check all the news. We have not to listen only to the voice. We have to check every time. Because it's a very serious matter. Because we are here to defend the cultural part of sport. Because if the sport continue to be clean, it's a very good school for the young generation. Because following the rules, it means that they will be better educated. It's not something that we are going against a sport or some other official. We are only against who is cheating. It's different. And we will continue this fight against the cheaters. This is for sure. Because our association has this mission. Because we are completely against the fake news, and we want to create a new culture also in the new generation of journalists that, as he told, we have to check every time, because especially on the social media now are coming so much information that are completely out of any possible meaning. And for this reason, before to publish something, please check everything. Because if not, we are killing our profession. This is the problem. Because our profession must be very, very high level clean. And also very smart. Because if not, there is no future. We are in a difficult moment for our profession. Because you have seen, but the girl that we have seen before is showing us that it's possible to make a very good journalism, even only with the phone. Why? We don't need anymore sometimes the typewriter of Jurassic Park. We need a new situation. And we can go farther and farther all together. Because this is the point. So now I thank you very much. We have the lunch at, let me see what is the time. The time is 1:13. So at 2:30, we must be back here because we have the UEFA presentation that is very important. You know, this morning we are following all the sport that we are engaged in the top event in the next future. It is important to listen to their opinion. Thank you very much, Guy. Yes, I have to give him also the award. Come.
He forgot.
Again, they want another.